Welcome to the online series based on Sri Aurobindo's profound vision. Art is a bridge between the human and the divine. We are grateful to Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts IGNCA, New Delhi, and Puducherry Regional Centre for collaborating with us in this series. Our speaker today is Commander Neeraj Vashisth. Neeraj Vashisth is a specialist in underwater sciences. He has keen interest in history and field of human rights. He is the author of the book Ayodhya to Ayutthaya, a relationship transcending faith and time. He has served as a former aide de camp to the President of India. His second book, Kim and Krishna, would be out in July 2025. He has been an invitee at many literary fests and colleges of repute. He has written for the Indo Thai News.
Good evening everyone, Shubh Sandhya. Today I am going to speak about India and Southeast Asia relations from prism of human and divine connection. Before I do that, let me introduce myself. I work with Government of India and I have very deep and keen interest in reading about Indian history, Indian culture, customs, traditions, and in the large, if you put it into large basket, it's about Indian culture and customs. Now, having said that, being a student of history, today I'm going to speak from the perspective of a student only. Now, before I do that, and before I shift to India and Southeast Asia relations, and of course to my the broad overview of my first book, Ayodhya to Ayutthaya, let me speak about Indian civilization first. Now, Indian civilization is the only surviving civilization in the world today, only standing civilization in the world today. All the civilizations that has ever been known to mankind, Inca civilization, Mayan civilization, Greek or Roman, and then Euphrates civilization, Yellow civilization of China, they have all perished. Not that they were not great civilizations once, but probably there were certain factors that they could not handle as a civilization. Chinese civilization or Yellow civilization of China to an extent is still surviving, of course in a different context and form. But what's so unique about Indian civilization then? How we were able to withstand or stood our ground in terms of, if you compare it in terms of the adversaries we have seen, or the humiliation that we have been inflicted to, or the Islamic hordes who have ruled us, or for that matter, you see the beatings or the ill treatment or the loot and plunder that we have gone through as a civilization, or forced conversions. Why do you think that we have been still able to survive and maintain our customs, rituals and traditions? Now you have to ask yourself these questions to understand this. Once you will start asking yourself this question, why have we survived? You will have your answers, because our daily lives are same as they were 5,000 years back. Of course, I'm not talking about the materialistic comfort that we are accustomed to, that we have been exposed to. But the rituals that we follow, the way we treat or we organize as a society hasn't changed much in the last 5,000 years. When I say that, let's look at when a child is born in a Hindu family. What happens? Recently, I've been blessed with a daughter. So the first ceremony or the first day is Jatakarma. That is when, as a father, I gave her a taste of lemon. Gave her a taste of honey and milk. What was that? It was to welcome that child into the world, saying that you are in a different world now. The cycle had changed. We as Hindu, we believe in the cycle of life. We call it samsara. There will be cycles. The ultimate aim of life or any Atman is to get himself away from the cycle of life. Now she has come to that cycle again. So we welcome him or her with honey and milk. Now after that, mother and child, they were confined to a confinement period, so to say, Sutak ceremony. And then of course there was Namankaran ceremony in between. Why is Namankaran ceremony so important in a Hindu family? because again talking about connection between human and divine, that is prime subject of my talk today when I talk about India Southeast Asia relations in that context. But why is naming so important? Because you see, our household names are what? For female, Sita, Lakshmi, Durga, and various manifestations of Mother Durga, Saraswati, and other goddesses' names. And similarly, you'll find God's name and Daddy's name. They are household names in India. So you'll find that the human and divine connection exists in our names. Then comes the Angrahan ceremony. Why the first morsel of bread or an is so important for a newborn child? It is to tell her that you are purified. You have come to this world now. Welcome to this beautiful world. And your food, that's when their food changed from liquid to solid form. Now in between you have Mundan, that is purification. If you look at all these traditions, of course there are little variations as you move from north to south or east to west, and that is uniqueness and that is greatness about India. But all these ceremonies, if you go in detail and look at your homes closely, the birth of a newborn and the ceremony associated, you will realize that we are still as we were 5,000 years back in terms of ceremonies that we follow. Now again, the unique thing that I talked about variation in the customs as we move from north to east and east to south, east to west and north to south, is that we have assimilated, we have accepted most of the forms or most of the religions, and we have not kind of tolerated them. You see, Zoroastrian exist in this country. You see Islam people who follow Islam, they exist in this country. Christians exist in the country. Every ethnic extraction or religion known to mankind exists in this country, and they are accepted and not tolerated. That is again one of the greatness of Indian civilization, probably the founding principle that it still survives as a vibrant civilization today. Now, if it's not only restricted to birth, but if you look at the ceremonies that are followed in a Hindu form on account of death of an individual. Now, what are these ceremonies? They are very interesting. If you look deep down, you will realize that they have a lot of connection, which brings out human and divine connection again. For example, first is traditionally your body is cleansed, it's bathed, and everything, every materialistic possession that you had on your body, your rings, your chain, everything, even your clothes, they are all taken off and you are given just the size of white cloth that fits your body. What does it signify? That there is nothing in the materialistic accumulation. It's about your karma. It's about your samsara, which phase of cycle you have reached to. It's about whether you have neared your moksha, whether you have done your karma properly. So this signifies that whatever materialistic gains you had in this world are inconsequential in the bigger scheme of things. Maybe life is so beautiful that you are transiting from one planet to another, and you are just happen to be on Earth for 70 years, 80 years at max. That is why we have survived. Again, it's about, as I said, it's about our founding principles. They are so strong as a civilization. They are eternal. They have universal values, and that's why we still survive as a civilization. The other aspect of death is the funeral procession, when he's carried by family members, and the eldest son leads the procession, and he gives mukhagni. Now the 5 elements from which our body is formed, they are very important in Hinduism. The 5 elements of the body are not only what makes your body, it's what you see, what you feel, the sensation. They are all accumulated in that. Then your mourning period, then comes the annual Shraddha ceremony, which is performed on the death anniversary to honor the deceased, and we offer prayer for them. Now imagine a civilization wherein you offer prayers to the dead individuals. There is a pagadi ceremony, there is a pagadi rasam. That means when someone dies in family, his place is taken by so and so individual. So there is a continuum that we maintain even after death of an individual, and that's why we are so closely knit as a society. If you look at all other specific traditions related to death in a Hindu family, it's offering food to people, rice balls and other offerings are made, his mortal remains are taken and kind of watered in Mother Ganga, chanting of mantras, lighting the pyre, then puja and havan ceremony, and then of course Pitra Paksha, that is a fortnight long period dedicated to ancestor worship, when you worship your ancestors. So that's what I said, that from birth to death, our life or our rituals around it hasn't changed much. These are very key principles of a surviving civilization. Other aspect, you see medicinal aspect, or for example, and it's not only about human and divine connection. Hinduism also believes in connection with animals and plants. That's why you will find most of our gods, they have their consorts as animals. Shiva has his consort as Nandi, the bull, Vishnu as Garuda, Ganesh as Rat, who's god of wisdom and prosperity. Saraswati Mata has a white swan. Kartikeya has a peacock, which symbolizes beauty, pride and ability to be fearless. Now all these are maybe symbolic today, but if you see in the larger context, they are a union between human and animals. Similarly, there are trees that are revered in Hinduism. Peepal tree, neem tree, tulsi mata, tulsi tree. Then you see banyan or coconut tree. They are all part of various rituals that we follow in our homes on occasions that you know better. So you will realize if you look at in grand scheme of things, Hinduism is nothing but an understanding or a pact between humans, animals, plants, earth, your sky, and all other elements that exist. So that means that's why this has survived as a civilization, because the concepts are universal. They believe in existence of universe as a whole in peace and harmony. All our principles like Vasudev Kutumbakam or Atiti Devo Bhava, they are all guiding principles of a living and vibrant civilization, because it is without any malice. Now, from that, if you see, other than that, the knowledge system that is actually thriving today after a long time, we can see revival of Hinduism, and it gives us hope that it's going to survive for years and generations and maybe centuries and millenniums, and maybe maybe they say that something which has taken birth is sure going to meet death as well. Maybe this civilization will not see, and it will be an exception, so to say. All our folk tales have very important messages. You read these stories of Panchtantra. They have all been taken in different parts of the world, given their variations, and today they still exist. People draw lessons from them. Whether it's crocodile or monkey story, or whether it's lion story, we have all grown up hearing this, and probably generations before us and generations before us. So the lessons that we draw from each other, animals and humans and trees, folk tales by our mother, narrated by our grandmothers, under a star-studded sky, is all hallmark of our great civilization. Be it medicine, I was surprised that as I was growing up, my grandmother could tell that instead of taking allopathic medicine, you can take maybe you can take chai patti, or you can take one of these things she will give, and I'll be fine without medicine. Similarly, if someday I'll tell her that I'm down with fever, and she'll come just tie a thread on my left wrist, and next day I'll be fine. So this understanding of human body, the understanding of entire nature, which medicinal plants can be used when, always existed in our society. Other than that, if you see, inventions, I really don't want to name. We have the most important invention to our credit, invention of zero, without which any meaningful calculation wouldn't have been possible. Similarly, our understanding, our ancestors' understanding of solar system, ancestors' understanding of planetary system in grand scheme has been hallmark of invention or the scientific temper of our ancestors. Wherein today, when most of the known world actually give credit to West for age of enlightenment and age of Renaissance, but there was a time when of course when we had Bhakti movement and when Kalidas or Kabir, they were writing couplets, worshipping gods, and we had our period of golden period much before that. West was still in dark ages. I won't believe that Galileo in about 15th century was hanged for telling people that it's basically Earth that moves around Sun and not other way around. So there are various things that we can discuss about our civilization, but today we have to understand and ask ourselves very important question: why are we still surviving, and what are we doing to give it a continuum status as a civilization? Now I come to second part of my talk, which is about India and Southeast Asia relations. Now this is a very important aspect, and since I always wanted to read and write, first time I gave it a very dedicated effort was to write about India and Thailand relations, because for most of us in India, Thailand, the idea or the traveling to Thailand is restricted to only few things, that is go there, good beaches, good life, food, and that's about it. Somewhere we actually don't discuss or talk about the connections that we had with them in the past. Now, how faraway land of India and Southeast Asia came close to each other. There must have been some trigger point. We were not like the hordes who will go and conquer. We have never done that. Never one instance in history. Other than one fight between Cholas and the Kingdom of Southeast Asia. Once you realize that all the words, have, or 40% of the words are actually, it's known to you. For example, thief is chor in Thai language. For example, acharya teacher is acharya. For example, and so many of them. You see manusya. Many examples I can give, and that's why in the first, if I can just read few. That's why to garner everybody's interest, in the first 2 pages I actually mentioned goddess is in Thai language is Devi, Guru is Guru, teacher, then head is Kapal, great is Maha, human being is Manushya, hell is Narak, king is Raja, taste is Ras, picture is Rupa, Sambun is Sampurn, Shatru is Satru. So you'll find that these words, there are so many words that are actually derived from Sanskrit language, and their script has, you'll find that, again I said 30%, 30 to 40%, and it's across Southeast Asia. It's not only restricted to Thailand. Language is one part, then of course their daily habits, how a normal Southeast Asian guy, especially because since I have spent some time in Thailand, so daily life of a Thai people is very similar to what a daily life of a common man in India is. So morning he wakes up, then he offers prayer. Their way of offering prayer is exactly same. You kneel down before the gods. You lit a incense stick, fold your hands, bow in prayer, offer your prayers. Of course, most of them now 90% of Thai people are Buddhist now, but that hasn't changed their true and original character and their association with Hindu pantheon of gods. Similarly, you can see this across Southeast Asia. You can see the biggest Vishnu temple is in Angkor Wat, that is in Cambodia. And Angkor Wat is a very unique temple because when I went there, I haven't seen anything like this before. Now, if you see Angkor Wat at the first look, it looked very different from a present-day Hindu temple. But if you compare it with some of the temples in Madhya Pradesh or some of the temples in Mahabalipuram, you'll find there's a very stark similarity. It's based on the concept of Meru Parvat, which is abode for all gods, and then there is a moat that is a water circumambulatory path which has water all around it, and the size and the majestic view of this temple will actually take you to think that maybe it was not built by humans. Maybe there was divine intervention or connection as well, because it is massive in terms of size, in terms of what it conveys. Whenever you travel to Cambodia, you must see it for what it is. And therefore, when the Khmers were existing, they took a very Hindu concept along with them, that is God King concept. So in Thailand today, the king of Thailand, Vajiralongkorn now, he rules by dispensation of the gods. He considers himself as Rama 10. He is the 10th avatar of or incarnation of Lord Vishnu. And before him, his father was 9th, and similar to that. Their ceremonies are very similar to what we have for our kings, what we had for our kings centuries back. So the Jalabhishekam ceremony or the coronation ceremony, they are all very similar, and you'll be surprised that the lineage of priest which actually does all this is from Gorakhpur, and some from Kailash Nath temple from southern part of India. So this is about, and then when you look at their festivals, you look at Hindu festivals, our festivals like Holi and Diwali, they are nothing but it's like celebration of right or wrong, light or darkness, good days or bad days, good or evil. For example, you see Holi, when Holika Dahan happened and Prahlad was saved, we celebrate our festival. It's when we have Lord Ram who came and destroyed entire Lanka and killed demon Ravan, and when he came back, people celebrated that. In fact, one of the important aspects that I want to tell you about India and East Asia, other than that, I don't find any battle that we have kind of unfolded on someone else. So it was in 1st century BC, or around that time, a prince from Odisha in India. He traveled all the way, crossed Malacca Straits, and went to present-day Cambodia. And he married a princess named Soma. Now this Kondinya and Soma story actually gave rise to what later became India and Southeast Asia relations, because it was nothing but from the point from where the kingdoms in Southeast Asia were Indianized. Not that before that we were not civilizational neighbors, because India and the ancient India in those times, it extended till northern Thailand, and our borders were extended much farther than what geography we see today. So then the mercenaries and the religious people, priests and merchantmen, they started traveling from these places. Today also we have this Bali Yatra, which is celebrated in Orissa and West Bengal, parts of West Bengal every year. And to just maybe a little away from topic, but we have the ancient stitch ship which will undergo same journey. This project is steered by Ministry of Culture and under guidance of Sri Sanjeev Sanyalji. We have this ancient stitch ship now. It will go to Oman first, and then it will go to Bali, and from there it will undertake Bali Yatra as it happened in ancient times. Not that we really want to go to those times back again with those ships. We don't want to show our craft in that. It is revival or acceptance or kind of being vocal about what was always truly yours. Our ancient shipbuilding is a different subject in itself. We were far away than contemporaries of those times, far away by miles altogether. So the Indian Southeast Asia relations started to build up. People started traveling to each other country, and without any forced conversion or without any self-blabbering of, or blowing self-trumpet of about our religions. People started liking our rituals and the idea of acceptance, and that's why the kingdoms there were Indianized. You will find Khmer Empire from about 8th century to 14th century flourished there. Champa civilization in central Vietnam, what is central Vietnam today. Then you had Man civilization, Daurati Empire, which was later replaced by Sorunbhumi or Sorundevi. And it's not that we had our connections in 1st century BC. If you read our ancient scriptures, all these places are named there. Java Dweep, Sumatra, Bali, Sorunbhumi, they have all been named in our ancient scriptures. But what is known after the written word is seen is basically that from 1st century our relations started to build up, and by 14th till 14th century, from 1st century BC to 14th century BC, all these kingdoms were Indianized. Our customs, traditions, cultures were accepted, and today you will find if you travel to Southeast Asia, most of the countries you will find that their temples. I am not at this stage. I am not taking any credit for what is truly theirs, because I really don't have any copyright or gods, and that's why we are surviving, because it has universal appeal. We people may say that we have 33,000 crores goddess and god, but we believe in only one manifestation, that is Brahman, or that is Atman, your Chit, is what we believe in, because all these paths lead us to one. You may like to worship Lord Hanuman or Ganesh or Shiv. Finally, the entire idea is to merge with the Chit and get away from the cycle of life, that is samsara. Now, when we started to build our relations with Southeast Asia, these kingdoms were Indianized, and our relations and our trade flourished. Today also you will see that most of these countries, though they are oblivion of this fact now, but of course at government to government level there is a revival, there are functions happening, there are certain NGOs that have come together, or certain governmental organizations that have come together, various functions are being organized, because in Southeast Asia you'll find that our heritage and culture are still very much preserved. When I say that, it's your culture is not only about your temples, but it's about food they eat, it's about the clothes they wear, it's about the language or the script that they use, and that's when you'll find Sanskrit is I consider it as language of the gods, because no other language can actually do that Gagar mein Sagar bharna. And this one language I always want to read, but it's very sad that in country of its origin there are only about 75,000 people who can speak Sanskrit language. But if you see all other languages of the world, most of the languages have words from Sanskrit language. We were fed by likes of Max Muller, the Aryan invasion theory, which I believe now, and with the facts coming up, that it actually never happened. It was indigenous people and their language and their customs and their traditions that have survived to this date. And rather than giving credit to some unknown white people who came from Central Asia with no kind of scientific thing to prove it. So when you look about Sanskrit language in Southeast Asia, you'll find that most of their languages, Bhasa or Thai language or Malaya, you'll find that there are about, depending on language, there are about 20 to 30%. For example, Thai language has about 40% of word derived from Sanskrit language. When I say that, it's about out of 78 or 79 provinces in Thailand, about 66 provinces have their names derived from Sanskrit language. So Nakhon Sohan is, it's basically heaven city, Savarg. Nakhom Pathom is first city, Nakhom is Nagar, Pathom is Pratham. Then there Nakhom Si Ayodhya, it's holy city of Ayodhya. Then Chonburi is Cholburi. Then Kanchanaburi is Buri is basically village, and Kanchan is gold. So you'll find all these names. At first look, it may all appear Greek and Latin to you, but a closer and detailed look at these words or the placard or the boards that you find there, you'll find that these languages or Sanskrit language, these words are actually derived from Sanskrit language. When I started reading or learning Thai language, initially it was very difficult because it's a vocal or it's a tonal language, so the meaning of the word actually changes based on how you what is your tone, how you speak it, whether you speak it slow or in a higher tone or higher pitch. That's when the meaning changes. So initially it was difficult, but once you realize that all the words have, or 40% of the words are actually, it's known to you. For example, thief is. So these festivals are basically celebration of a connection between human and divine. Festivals in India and Southeast Asia, they are very similar. They have in fact shared stories. For example, Loi Krathong in Thailand and Songkran in Thailand, which is somewhat equivalent to Holi, and Loi Krathong, which is equivalent to Diwali in matter and manner both. And similarly there are many festivals in Southeast Asia which has a lot of similarity with Indian festivals. Now in nutshell, or to sum up, I want to say that India and Southeast Asia relations are centuries of strength and bonding, because the way we celebrate our human and divine forms are very similar. The way we celebrate our festivals, our culture, customs, traditions, they are very similar. Only thing is, we got to just take a closer look and understand that human and divine connection in Indian and Southeast Asian way of life. Therefore, first I talked about the Indian civilization and its greatness. Second is about India and Southeast Asia relations and the way we need to see it, that the connection is not only in terms of today shipping or the trade relations we have built up with them. It's about the ancient past that speaks louder than all these connections put together. So in the end, I would like to thank Sri Aurobindo Center for Advanced Research for giving me this opportunity, and I wish you all good luck. I wish you all best times, and I wish that all of us become ambassadors of Sanatan Dharma and go on our paths as we touch glory and success. Thank you.